of course, we are all everywhere.
Right. So I'm at a point in my life where I can see how my life is a reflection of my intentions, my actions. It's a reflection of me. And I can live a high, and I feel really good day to day in my personal life.
Why do I sense a large butt coming up here?
But, because I'm about to ask. But
all right.
The thing that brings me down, it's not...
The thing that brings you down?
The feeling,
You mean
the thought.
when I choose to lower my vibration?
What I'm trying to understand...
What you're what?
Yeah, what I'm about to ask...
Yes.
is knowing that I'm a co-creator of
yes.
all of reality outside just my personal life.
No. Every single thing you experience is a creation in your personal reality.
Okay.
Even though you are interacting with other consciousnesses that are autonomous consciousnesses, you only experience them by creating your version of them out of your energy in your reality. You don't experience them directly in physical terms. So everything in your reality that you experience is actually made out of your energy, is your version of who you are interacting with on a higher level. But you're creating your representation of them out of your own energy in your own universe in order to experience them through physical means, through physical interaction. So it's still all in your own personal reality.
Okay. Well, how can I justify, I guess, some of the evils in the world that I'm choosing to project, to experience myself?
Because you recognize that many people can act out of alignment with themselves, out of integrity, that they do not have the tools or the awareness or the understanding to be in alignment with the idea of who it is they prefer to be. They may not have been given the tools that are in alignment with the expression of wanting to be more of themselves. And so they may use things that are negative tools, segregational tools, lower in a sense in vibration, because they simply have never been given any other toolkit by which to express the idea of their true selves, their true reality. So they do the best they can. And in that sense, the idea is that if you have the ability to express to them through example other choices they could make, other tools they could choose to express the idea of their fullness of self, to know that they are valuable, to know that they are valid, to not devalue themselves and so in turn devalue everything else around them. Because remember, the golden rule really is what you're willing to do to yourself, you'll do to anyone else. You understand? Mm-hmm. So the idea is if you teach them that they are worthy, teach them that they are valuable, and they have, in a sense, no real reason to devalue themselves or think less of themselves or negatively judge themselves in that way to begin with, then they can learn that there is no threat to their ego. There is no fear of annihilation. They do not have to be afraid of life. They do not have to lash out because they find themselves lacking and project their fear of that reality on everyone else. Remember that a person, in a sense, who feels alone doesn't want to be alone, and they will do whatever they are capable of doing to drag anyone into their reality with them. But if they're operating on a downward spiral, then all they will do is drag everyone down the drain with them. But if you teach them that there is an upward spiral, that they are part of creation, that they would not exist if they were not a valuable piece of all that is, if you by example show them they have other choices, then you give them at least an opportunity to choose other things, not that they have to. Because simultaneously it's important to be unconditionally loving and allowing enough to know that no matter what they may choose to experience in physical reality, no matter how negative it may be, they are fundamentally an infinite and eternal spirit, and somewhere in their experience of themselves, they'll get the point. By supporting them with unconditional love to know that they are an infinite spirit, by bolstering the idea that they are a loving infinite spirit, you give them the greatest opportunity to see themselves in that light as well and choose more positive representations of the expression of themselves in life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Does that help?
It does. So on a larger scale, such as war,
yes,
we teach through individual acts.
Yes.
It's not something that we can just phase out of our reality?
Yes,
our
of course. But remember, here's what you're actually doing, going back once again to the understanding of true parallel reality awareness. You never actually change the world you're in. You change yourself and shift to a parallel reality that's already more representative of the world you prefer. The other world still remains the same in the same way that when you change from channel 2 to channel 4, the program on channel 2 is still the same as it was. But now you're living channel 4. And that world, that program, is simply now more reflective and contains versions of individuals that are more reflective of the change you've made within yourself, and you've shifted yourself to a parallel reality that can now reflect that change within you. The world itself hasn't changed.
Cool, got it.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Does that help you?
It does.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Would you now like to enjoy billions of parallel realities of lunch? Enjoy your break. We will reconnect in 14,578,952 parallel realities. Give or take.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Did you enjoy your lunch? And I also wanted to mention that the Esasani seed crystals, that I'm not sure if everyone really understood what that was about. Did anybody have any questions in terms of what the crystals are or how they function? What are they? Well, we've been, he told us about them about a year ago, and we've really been going through a lot to get them made and to get them exactly the way that we want them. And what will happen is when we get the crystals in, then we have Bashar charge them. And what that does is it's charged in a way that acts as of course it's a permission slip. Everyone knows it's a permission slip. But it also, what it does is it gives you a harmonic resonance to tune into. And it makes you a point of contact in the sense of an invitation for contact. And so what happens over time is that if you have a planet filled with people that are beaming the energy of wanting contact and welcoming contact, that's one of the ways that we shift to a parallel Earth where we're actually having physical contact. So that's what the crystals are designed to do. But, I mean, just as an aside, to me, they're also kind of like having a Dick Tracy decoder watch. Because you'll see when he tells you stories about his planet and everything, it just brings out the child inside of you, that creative aspect of yourself that's unfettered, that's not skeptical, that just wants to have fun. And I really think that that's a lot of why they also gave us these crystals, was to give us an opportunity to have some more fun and to play with it and to play with them. So, and I know we're going to take a few minutes and let Kirby tell you about the holotope, because that'll come at the end, and that's designed to anchor the information and the energy that he's given you today, because we really want everyone to have the fullest, most wonderful lives. And this technology that Bashar is giving to us can radically change your life if you want it to. So thank you all very much for being here, and let me turn it over to Kirby so that he can tell you about the holotope and how it works.
Hi everyone. This is the holotope. The holotope was invented by Randall Fonts, who's sitting right here. Thank you, Randall. Randall was a longtime creator at the Exploratorium in San Francisco for light projects, light and sound projects, and he's devoted his whole life to creating visual representations of the inner self. and he's really hit it on this one. So, and I'll just briefly describe the mandala shape, the circle, in mathematics is called a Gaussian polytope E8. It's actually a derivative of the Gaussian polytope E8, which is a 248 dimensional object. This is an 8-dimensional object as a relation to that. And currently in modern physics, in a certain section of particle physics, they're using the E8 as a model for the construction and description of the atom. So what we're looking at is, from a supersymmetry point of view, is what Bashar calls the one particle that exists in everything and everywhere, that's traveling at an infinite speed, appearing to be everywhere at once. And that's the primal pathway that particle is traveling. Okay? So what we're looking at is the atomic structure of our reality. And what Randall's done is he's painstakingly layered each of the 8 dimensions with different colors. And we'll be projecting different colored lights onto the holotope so that you'll be able to see the different aspects of those dimensions. And we'll be strobing them in different types of brainwave patterns that your mind will begin to assemble the 8 dimensions. And hopefully you'll pop into that 8-dimensional field. Okay? So it's really quite an experience. Yes. The other thing I want to point out is the fractal patterns in somewhat the backdrop. It's an equal partner in the experience of the holotope. Fractal math is demonstrative of nonlinear creation. We're taking very simple patterns and elaborating them in infinite ways. So it represents the nature of our reality. A rock, the structure of a rock is a rock, but no 2 rocks are the same. It's infinite in terms of that variation, such as we as individuals are all human, but represent the multitude of humanity, of the 6.5 billion of us. So that's what the fractal patterns in the backdrop. And as we project the lights, it'll breathe back and forth between the supersymmetry and the infinite creation, sort of masculine, feminine breathing in and out. And what I love about this is as people being representative of our sort of primal consciousness, that a lot of things happen. People's innermost psyches, innermost spiritual connections begin to become revealed to them. So you might see past lives or parallel lives or the kinds of alternate realities that we're looking for to teleport ourselves to through this method and means. It's an eyes open meditation, and implicit in that for us is inviting the conscious, waking, rational mind into the dream time, into the altered state, into the multi-dimension. Most spiritual traditions up to this point has regarded the ego mind as something as an obstacle to getting into these states. But we're at a level now where we need to integrate that last part of ourselves, that last part of our evolutionary self, into the subconscious, into the unconscious, connecting with our higher selves and our soul. So this is the engagement, and when this happens, we recommend that you basically stare at the center. And as you stare at the center, soften your gaze. You'll be able to receive information from your peripheral vision, which receives a whole different level and frequencies of information. So you'll be receiving it through your conscious mind and through the peripheral vision of more your subtle states of reality as well. So that's the type of engagement we're looking for here. What else do I want to say about it? It's beautiful. We're definitely on the path of beauty here, and beauty entrances. Beauty brings a sense of timelessness, a sense of the bigger picture to our conscious awareness, a sense of belonging, and that's what we're trying to convey here in terms of this reflection of who you are at the most deepest level. So enjoy the journey, and here we go.
Thanks, Kirby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kirby. And of course, these gorgeous crystals up here are from Kirby also. I mean, we like to give Bashar an environment where he feels like he's at home. Oh, wait a minute, he is at home, isn't he? So let's see, are we ready to go? You're ready. Ready, ready. You ready? No? Oh, well, okay.
Sorry.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and on with the excitement and the journey.